Now I know what you're thinking. Lucas, why are you getting rid of this camera? Nikon gave it to you for free. It's an amazing camera. The lens alone costs more than £1,000. You've built your career off this camera recently. And that is all true. And I will address all of those points now. This is my Nikon Z6ii, the version 2 of Nikon 6. It has been my camera for all of my shoots the last sort of 2 years, and I'm trading it in for a Canon 5D Mark IV. A lot of people reach out and ask me why I chose this camera, why I chose Nikon, and I always tell them the truth. Nikon gave me that camera in exchange for me doing a couple of reels for them as part of their recent marketing campaign to appeal to the younger audience. Because for the last, well, as long as I've sort of been doing photography, Nikon has been known as the potato camera. And this is largely because they were the big top boy of cameras for a very long time. Most of your favorite old school shooters will have been shooting on a Nikon. I know my favorite, Austin Powers, was shooting on a Nikon. I know that if you went onto YouTube a few years ago and you searched for Nikon camera review, the only thing you would find is a lot of old men in fields talking about the birds they're trying to shoot that day. And I don't mean the cool, hip, slang birds, which means like woman. I mean birds, the little flappy things. Basically all other good camera reviews were coming from Canon, because so many people were invested in the 5D for early video, which was then quickly overtaken by Sony, and then all of the up and coming video creators which were on YouTube started shooting Sony, and Sony took over the video world, and because of that all of the people on YouTube had Sony cameras. So Sony just shot up to the top, leaving Nikon very much in the hands of only the old men and women. So when I agreed to be part of Nikon's deal, they were supposed to send me the Mark VII. They sent me the 6, and it has been an amazing camera. This is the best camera I have ever owned. And I know part of that is the glass. This lens is incredible. I know when I've stuck it on other cameras and converted it, it has just made everything better. That's all that really needs to be said about it. It's amazing. I love it. Let's run through some of the specifications for all you fellow nerds out there. It has a 24.5 full frame sensor. It's great. You don't need more than that. 273 point phase autofocus system. Even I don't really know what that means. The autofocus is very good. It's very good autofocus when it's working. Now I'm going to come back to that because this is my only gripe with this camera. 4K video, I never touched that because I used this video camera, my Sony a7S III for video. So I've never touched the video on this. It has primarily been a stills camera, and in my eyes it's a photo camera, and that's all I use it for, and that's part of why I'm downgrading. One thing I might miss is my little flippy screen, definitely. But the lens has definitely shaped the look of my work for the last 2 years. I know on shoots, I know I always say lighting is the key, camera doesn't matter. I was doing lighting for someone in my studio the other day. We set up the shot, had it on their camera, they had a kit lens, and they were struggling with the tethering, connecting it to the computer. So I just gave them my camera, because I know it connects to the computer. And everything just looked really good all of a sudden. So yes, I can't thank Nikon enough for sending me this. It is very good. I do feel slightly bad about trading it out, considering it was technically a gift. But then I know my content has reached millions of people over the last 2 years, and I have influenced people to get this camera, and I know it's just part of their marketing to give it to me. They've given a load of expensive cameras to young people who do social media, and more people are buying their cameras now. It's as simple as that. Now I mentioned there was something I didn't love about this camera, and this is the only thing I don't love about this camera. When I turn this guy on, and I'm going for my shot, the autofocus, the infrared autofocus sensor is here, this green thing. Yep, see that? And when you take it in a landscape shot like this, oh, it's brilliant. Oh, all you landscape photographers using your autofocus, lovely stuff. But as a portrait photographer, when I come at you like this, ready for my shot, so I'll take this off just so you feel like it's actually happening. When I take this off and I'm pointing at you like this, my autofocus isn't working for some reason. Why is that? It's because my hand is covering the autofocus there, because I'm right-handed, and this is a heavy lens, so I'm gonna put my hand on it. So for the last 2 years I've been shooting like this. It looks a little bit weird, but it works. And that's my only problem with this camera, is the autofocus. Someone pointed out it's probably made for landscape photography, which is why the autofocus point is here. When I've looked at the other models, they don't have the autofocus here. They've got it over here, where where it usually is, where it should be. But yeah, that's my only gripe with this camera. Apart from that, I cannot recommend this enough. If you're thinking about it, definitely get it, definitely pair it with all the lenses. So with all that being said, with that being one of the best cameras I've ever owned for photography, why would I get rid of it? And this is my answer. This is my 35mm camera, and it takes EF glass. And I currently only have a 24-70mm for it. And I've been wanting to get a telephoto lens. I've been wanting to get a telephoto lens for my Nikon camera, which, as you can see, very expensive. And I've also wanted to have a telephoto lens for this setup. So rather than buying both, which is very expensive and would be very heavy and just a lot of kit to have in a bag, a lot of kit to own in general, I want to minimize and have one system, one lens system, and I'm going with a Canon. The thing that prompted me to buy my first 35mm Canon camera was the price. They are very cheap and affordable. No one seems to be wanting them, and I don't really understand why. They're amazing cameras. They do everything I need them to do. You can buy the pro models of their 35 EOS line, but that costs more than 10 times more than their, you know, basic consumer models, and they don't seem to have much more functionality than this that I would need as a fashion photographer or just as a daily carry. If you're doing sports and wildlife, yeah, then that's, you know, to get the 1V or whatever it is. But if you're just shooting portraits or in the studio or out and about, you really don't need more than their prosumer line. And, you know, I've recommended so many friends to go and get these cameras. They absolutely love them. You know, I would hate for them to become incredibly expensive. I don't want to gatekeep it. They're brilliant. Obviously the batteries can be quite expensive. Those 25CR batteries, they can be quite expensive, but you can get these like 3D printed housings for them, and then just get rechargeable batteries that you put into the housing, and then you've got a rechargeable option. Since I've had my Canon, I've done a few shoots with it with the L series glass, and it is just incredibly sharp. To see sharp glass like this on a 35mm negative, it's incredible. I fell in love with it. I love the look. I will want to start experimenting with medium format. I can see already. This was from a recent shoot with that setup, my 24-70 on 35mm. There is incredible amount of information. I think you get about equivalent of 30 megapixels on a 35mm negative. But yeah, just the amount of information captured on there is incredible. And I want to start moving towards shooting primarily on film for a number of reasons. I think I'll do a separate video on that. But the reason I'm letting go of my very nice new shiny Nikon mirrorless camera is just to consolidate all of my lenses, so I have the same lenses for my film camera as my digital camera, so that there's consistency across my work. What I really want is consistency. And if I'm doing a shoot for a client, they will usually want to see a preview, at least, of what the final look is going to look like on set. So I can bring my digital body along, use the same lenses, they know exactly what photo they're getting, but then I replicate it and do it with film. So I'm hoping NPB are gonna like the condition of that my Nikon, because I've hardly taken it outside ever. It's pretty much lived in the studio, and I should be getting my 5D very soon. So I'll get a review on that. Feel free to subscribe if you like cameras and stuff. And yeah, there'll be a review on that coming. I'll talk about why I, as someone who shoots a lot of digital, does commercial work, does a lot of photography, why I would want to transition to shooting film, and why I want to actually step away from all of the technical advances that are coming in photography in another video.